We split it equal. It's democratic, and which is good. I think it was the only way after what we'd been through, picking and poking around songs, you know, democratic. And Warren really just used to concentrate on his drums, and that was fine because it, you know, it really had a very, very important part of the whole movement. A lot of it, the drum side of it, was very important. You know.
Two things.
Technology and all that.
Just about to run out on the cassette.
Right,
Just
yeah.
go. Which one?
All right, fine. But I'll talk about Vienna first.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Do you like?
That's okay. Happy chaps and carry on.
Yep.
Okay. Obviously, Sleepwalk number 29
Yeah.
broke into the top 40. Job done to a degree. But then
Yeah.
Vienna went. You know, had it.
That was actually depended whether we got the deal at Chrysalis.
Tell us a little bit about just first up. I mean, you mentioned it. It's a little bit early, but go back to how did Vienna come about? You know, the actual song.
It was the second album we'd done with the producer Connie Plank, and Connie Plank had come and seen us even as far back as 1977 and built a relationship with us and got into our music in the tougher, acid, hard stuff that we were doing then, and some of it really was. And he could produce that kind of stuff, but he was also very much into the other stuff we were doing as well. We did a track on Systems of Romance called Just for a Moment, which is very sparse, where we recorded the vocals outside with the sound of the birds tweetering in the background, you know. And when we did Vienna, he was just with us all the time. And I mean, we actually did write Vienna, but with nothing much going on in the middle section. I was a suspect hippie, by the way. I never really lost that. So I used to improvise through it. I always believe that if you do an album, you should have these things. You know, you should be able to improvise, and a lot of my solos had that. I like to keep that edge about it. You know, this is this futurist thing. It was in touch with technology, but a spiritual sort of positivity going on as well. And when we were doing that, yeah, we did it without in the middle section. We did it at Camden. Like I said, this is where we got the record deal from. I'm digressing. So I asked the guys to just back off and let me concentrate on that middle section, and amazingly they did. All very strong characters, you know, which is good. So we did that, and so I was in the enviable position of filling in the middle section, and it was really exciting. I mean, we're talking. We still didn't have any money. I remember borrowing the violin to do it. We laid it all down at Rack Studios in St John's Wood, and I mean, Connie was the kind of guy that would let us use the acoustics. He would experiment with the acoustics, like I did the violin for it, in the doorway as you come in, because it was like marble and glass. And I remember us sending out the drums down into the basement bit as well. He used to experiment to get an overall ambience, which was all very important to him towards the song. And I can't really talk to you about the lyrics because he was very private with that, with Midge, but he did influence that. And the term Vienna came up because when I was doing it's not just me, all of us we were doing, but when I was trying to get a feeling for the middle section, he started going on about, why don't you overblow it? Why don't you make it seem like decaying decadence, which was at a time of the Habsburg thing? I mean, history, dumb. But it kind of rang a bell, and he talked to me, because his father was a viola player, who played in an orchestra, and he knew I'd had a lot of music history slung down my neck at college. So he said, Richard Strauss, right, this is a guy called Max Reger, who he used to play records to fill us in with what's going on, which was good to try and get us into what he meant. So for me, he played this guy called Max Reger, and what he meant was that when Richard Strauss, the man, left, he did an exit stage right because things were just weird, things were going wrong. There was just a climate in the society was going downhill. So enter stage left this chancer called Max Reger, And now this is where the crux of the thing, you know, and he says, now listen to this and you'll see what I mean. And it was overblown, over-embellished, arpeggio city, and it made you want to puke. And we thought, oh, that's interesting. You know, it's this Austrian, you know, and it was kind of... So he influenced all of us to play it in almost like overplayed. But I was like that anyway with that one, you know, I didn't need much help. So like when you play the violin, it's like, really sing it, you know, which was alien to us because I hadn't been doing that. I'd almost been avoiding the classical thing by trying to be accepted, in other words, playing the Fender violin and just getting it through people's heads as loud as possible, even getting feedback and stuff. So this was an interesting, he just gave us an angle on it. And then of course out come the cymbals, you know, if you're going to get overblown. And, but that was nice. I mean, I had control over that. I didn't write all the music. Chris Cross had a very influential part to move into the